Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you've watched my April spending update, you probably remember a slight panic. That's an understatement. As my expenses decided to time travel and double my monthly budget. I got hit with significant expenses from last year and the year before. Some of it surprised me because of how big it was, and I thought they were already done. Anyway, I told you guys that if the months continue like this, and that's the norm, I'm going to have to be polishing up my resume and start looking for another job again. I have been perusing the job market. There's not much out there, but I really want to avoid that if I can. I put that seriousness of looking for another job to the side for now because May decided to play nice. It's looking a lot better this month, but it's only 1 month out of 5, so it's not very good odds, even though I expect it to continue. Not only did I finally come within my target of $3.2 thousand a month, I still think it's a little high. But for the first time since moving to Laos, we actually finished the month with a financial surplus. And it even gets better. I had a massive double whammy plot twist from Thailand that officially marks the end of an era for me. Let's look at the numbers and see how I finally beat my budget last month. Just to give you a quick overview, if you have not been with me before, I do this monthly update. For one, I think it's good for me to do some micro analysis of my spending because every expense counts when you're on a modest budget and in early retirement. And the second thing is, I think it's interesting for people who might want to know what does it cost to live in Laos. I find this very interesting when I see what other people spend money on and how they spend it and what things cost in various parts of the world. So early retired in December after losing my job last year. I had a very short notice with the loss of my job. I was thankful for leaving the job, even though I still wanted to work a little longer. But my wife and I moved back from Thailand here to Laos. We own our home and we own our car. We don't have any loans. We don't have any rent or lease or anything like that. We live here with my wife's sister, who basically is the manager of the house. And she takes care of everything. I mean, she's irreplaceable. I pay her. And we support her. She lives here with her baby. She was here before with her son, but I basically gave him the boot back in December because it just wasn't working out since we returned to Laos full time. And the other thing is I have to manage my accounting in 3 currencies. I use Quicken as the central database, but I have to export everything into Excel because Quicken cannot consolidate the 3 currencies together. That it can only give you individual reports, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. It's my biggest grief with Quicken. I like how it consolidates. I like how it updates my US bank accounts. For the foreign currency, I have to manually enter in every little currency. So I use Excel a lot. Actually, that's another big change this month. I decided I'm going to get rid of my Microsoft subscription, which I've had since forever. I'm a heavy Microsoft user, but last month I decided it's a cost I don't really need because I don't think I'm going to be using Excel anymore. It's an extra expense. So I'm moving over to Google and Google Sheets, and I am amazed with how good Google Sheets is. I avoided it before and I thought it was super, super basic, but it's pretty incredible what you can do with it, especially if you combine the AI component of it. So anyway, it's just a cost that I'm removing that I won't see until the end of the year so I did pay for that. So the Google subscription to have a little more AI features included. Let's get moving here. I categorize my budget lines, my expenses into categories, and they're color coded within the spreadsheet. So let's start with income. So my income this month was $85. This is all interest. This is the big surprise. This is my taxes, my tax returns from Thailand. which was incredible to receive. I didn't expect both of them. I received my tax return for last year. I made a large amount of donations to the church that I attend, which otherwise I would have probably been paying taxes if it weren't for that. And I also applied to have my Social Security that I've been paying for 8 years in the Thailand system. I got that returned to me because normally you Social Security is for retirement. I'm not going to retire in Thailand. I never counted on getting that. But that alone was about $2,700. My tax refund was about $1,000. So I am really happy about that. I never expected anything from the Thailand government. Working in Thailand, you pay taxes, but you get almost no benefits from the government if you're a foreigner. Anyway, I'm really glad to get that back, and that basically cuts my ties with Thailand. So moving down into the auto and transport, I paid $18 for my motorbike to be filled with gas twice. The gas prices have come down. It's about 32,000 kip per liter. It's down from 50,000 it was a month ago. And I didn't need to do anything with my vehicle this month. Parking fees. My finance and administration related costs. Had some supplies. I think I bought a notebook for my Lao language school. And my subscription, this is the Google subscription for the year. If you pay for a full year, you get like a month free or some discount. So I always pay for the year to get the discount. We won't see that again until next year. And this will be averaged out of my operational expenses at the end of this video, because I keep my operational expenses separate from my one-off expenses. And then, so I keep two running averages that you'll see later. This is my Netflix subscription. I pay with my Thai baht credit card. That's $5. I pay $10 a month so I can get 4.5% interest on my bank account. And the interest, as you can see, surpasses the cost. There's other benefits to paying this $10. Coffee was a little high. This actually is on budget, $60. I did splurge. I bought a stock of my favorite coffee. So my grocery budget for the year is $1,500 a month. And that includes groceries, special foods, and restaurants. So groceries alone, this is food at home. This is $1,100. Special foods, this is more foods for me or things that are not normal. So my special meats, I eat red meat, I eat some steaks that are imported, yogurt, things that are more specific for me, for my diet. I keep that separate just so we know if we ever have to cut it, I know where to cut it. And then restaurants, we ate out twice, I think, with some friends, and I've paid for the meal. The combined total was $1,610. So I went over budget of my $1,500, but I think it was because of the restaurants and me paying for. We normally don't eat out. We eat at home all the time. I still don't understand why we spend so much on groceries at home, because it's just me, my wife, and her sister. They're two small ladies, and they don't eat much. So I don't know if this is a reflection of how expensive things really can be here in Laos. We buy all of our food, almost all of our food locally. It's one of those expenses so that I think is still a little high. We do get some drop-ins with my wife's family. They might stop in for a meal, and then, or even a couple meals if they stay a little longer. It's always unannounced. Maybe that's something I'll go into a little deeper 1 month to be more specific about when she reports in on what they spend on food, just so I can see. You know, some of the fruits are expensive, like durian. Actually, this month I stopped eating. I'm back on my carnivore diet. So the special foods might go up a little bit, but groceries should come down. It says we donate to our church every month. That was $46. The gifts was my wife's best friend had a basi opening for her business, so we gave her a gift for that. And then, unfortunately, my wife's family's neighbor in the deep south, she ended up passing away this past week from cancer. She's been fighting pancreatic cancer for the past 3 months, and we've given her a little bit of money every month, and then we made a bigger donation to her family this month. Her family lives right across the street. Maybe I'll show a video of where they live, but extremely poor. I mean, you're talking rural poor. These people, the way that they live in a shack. The whole house is old rusted sheet metal. It's really hard to watch, and it's hard to. And right across from her, my wife's house was a big 2-story concrete building. So, and my wife's family is not wealthy. They are rural people, and I think they got a little help from a foreign friend to build that house. Because otherwise, I don't think my wife's family could have afforded that. Moving down, so supplements. This is some special sesame oil that we purchased from a very good friend of mine. It's fresh pressed. And my wife she drinks ginseng. I stopped drinking ginseng. So that was $111. This will be averaged out at the end of the video into the annual average. Moving down, electricity was cheaper this month. I don't know how, because we were home and we're using the electricity a lot more for air conditioning. So that was $68. Cleaning supplies was a little high. That was $144. I think that should be down around $100. We paid at the beginning, we paid at the end of the month. We're actually going shopping today again for this month's supplies. Internet at the home is $12 a month. Kitchen is basically propane gas. We cook, that gas stove is running every day, all day, because we cook everything at home. Mobile phones, I pay for 3 phones and the internet connection, so that's $18. Paid help, this is my wife's sister who lives with us. She takes care of everything. She's the manager of the house. She's really incredible. That is going to be one of the last costs I cut. I mean, for one, it helps her. It helps her stay here at the house and with her baby. And this is an income she'll never get outside, especially for as comfortable as it is to work and live here too. Repairs in the house. So this was a bit of a downer. I would like to get through a month without any repairs needed on the house. But we had a big leak on our house roof, and we had a guy come and look at it. And he pulled out the sheet metal that's underneath the tiles, and it's all completely rusted. I mean, and so there's water getting through. And I thought it would be worse than that. So that repair alone was about $200. We also had the aircon in our room wasn't working. We had someone come, and I was really hoping we wouldn't need to replace that. Another aircon. I just want to get through the rest of this year without any more major repairs and any more major equipment replacement. But I know I'm probably being naive. They had to replace the compressor and the fan. So fortunately, that only cost about $50 to fix versus paying several $100s for a new unit. Moving down, I like seeing these empty budget lines. This is ongoing treatment for her. She gets something in her stomach, and sometimes she goes for an IV treatment, and still medicines for her arm that she's still recovering from the accident she had a month and a half ago. Her personal stuff, this is her special creams, $124. I wish she'd get away from these expensive makeup. She puts makeup on every morning, and she does it to pass the time. I said, you don't need makeup. Nobody's wearing makeup here. She's one of the only few people wearing makeup, and we don't go anywhere. So she does it to pass the time, and it's kind of like a hobby for her. She doesn't have any other hobbies, so I guess I probably shouldn't complain. It could be worse. My haircut, $5. Spa and massage. This is for her, and her massage for her arm, for her shoulder. And there's a blind woman who we bring her here. She lives at the local temple. We do it to help her out, the lady, and she gives my wife relatively inexpensive massages. So that was $39 for the month. So here's some cat food for the stinking cats, $50 a month. 5 cats who just sit around shit in a box and cry like they're starving. I'm the last person they should come up to if they're hungry. I can't stand them. I don't want anything bad to happen to them. I mean, we keep feeding them. They keep the rats away. That's the biggest thing. but they just sit around and they run off, do their business, and then they come back to eat and shit in a box, and we got to clean it up and pay for it. Really annoying. Useless. Well, no, they keep the rats away. They really keep the rats away. Before we got these cats, we had problem with huge, and the rats here are huge, and you don't want them around the house. Anyway, so all right, we got a lot of empty cells here. Yes. So we ended up in a surplus of $496 because of the tax refunds. And this is in the expense section because I didn't count it as income. So overall, for the month we had $580 surplus, which is really great. So we're taking out the tax returns from Thailand, taking out the Google storage from for Google, the $80, and then taking out the supplements that we buy. You know, the supplements last for a couple months, so we're taking that out of our monthly operational costs. And our monthly operational cost was $2,869. That is fantastic. That's below $3,200. The running average for the year, for the last 5 months, is of our operational cost is $3,222. So we're on target. And I'm really hoping this comes down to even more next month. The total average cost for all expenses for the year, including all those one-offs, is $5,675. If I continue on down that road of $5,600 a month for the rest of the year, my average annual spending will be around $68,000, and there's just no way I can afford it. I have to get this below $50,000 by the end of the year. If I get this below $50,000 by the end of the year, I'm going to be really, really happy because of all the big one-off expenses and what hits I took the last couple months. So this should be averaging down. So that's May. 2026 is in the books. You know, it was beautiful. Quiet and under budget. I'm really happy about that. So the biggest takeaway for this month's numbers is it comes down to those 2 tax refunds that I got from Thailand. To be clear, for the accounting of it, it looks like fresh income, but it's not. I'm accounting for them strictly as tax refunds, and they stay within the expense section because they're not income. Just to keep my tracking clean, so I don't have this anomaly at the end of the year of income that wasn't actually income, because I won't expect it again. Emotionally, receiving those payments means my connection to Thailand, the plug is pulled. I am free from Thailand. All the ties of wondering and worrying that my job might cause a problem for me, my previous corrupt boss. So the past is settled, and the focus here is on entirely developing my personal life here in Laos again. You know, it's a bittersweet feeling, but boy, it feels pretty good to have that injection of extra money that'll pay for another month of expenses. So we survived April. April was a roller coaster. April got punched in the freaking face, and now we're enjoying the May surplus. So now we will see what June has in store for us for this experiment. The only 2 expenses I'm expecting by the end of the year is we will have some medical expenses, some checkups we need to do at some point. I have to go back because my mom was killed by a drunk driver, and his sentencing should happen sometime this year. This is 3 years later, and we're still waiting for this to get resolved. We're still waiting for him to be sentenced. My mom was killed by a drunk driver, and it's still hard to believe that 3 years later we're still waiting to have this guy prosecuted. So that's one of the only big expenses I'm expecting, and I'll probably take my wife somewhere away for a couple days locally, just a little getaway. If you're tracking your own numbers or planning an escape to live in Laos, hit the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of these May expenses? How did your budget treat you? Did some of these costs surprise you? Take care, everybody. God bless, and take it slow.